Hey guys, we got a Benchmade Triage here. It's the 916BK-ORG, and I'll go over what all that means in a minute. It's a 3.5-inch blade, and the knife weighs in at 5.1 ounces. And we could go on more about the specs, or you could use Google. But on the note of technical issues, I want to take some time to go over your options with this knife, and that's because you might be using it as a duty knife, and there's a whopping 16 different variants of the Triage. Since we have a combination of options in blade color, whether or not you have partial serrations on the blade, handle color, and sheep's foot, pointy tip, or blunt chisel tip like this model. So there's all those different options, like I said. I chose the 916BK-ORG, as I said, and what that means is it's a chisel tip or blunt tip, that's the 916 part, because I wanted to avoid poking patients with a pointy tip. The 915 is a pointed sheep's foot blade, which is already shaped to be relatively safe, but it's all your choice. And of course, remember to be careful if you are using this knife for patient care. The BK means the blade is a black finish. The other option is satin, and that just doesn't have the BK in the model number. And I chose the edge that has no serrations on it, which would be indicated by an S after the 915 or 916. For a couple reasons. One is Benchmade doesn't sharpen the serrations. Also, I rarely find myself needing to saw through stuff. And Benchmade's already come pretty razor sharp out of the box, and they are life warranted for sharpening on their regular edges. And the partially serrated model was on back order, and of course the plain edge gives you a little bit more slicing belly. Many knife enthusiasts dislike serrations for a few of those reasons, but I'm not trying to deter you if having serrations is your thing, because they can certainly come in handy in certain circumstances. And then finally, the -ORG at the end is the G10 scales. G10 is essentially a lightweight glass resin composite that's often used in mid-range or kind of high-range quality knives. I don't know how much you guys know about knives, so there's that. And then the model without the ORG at the end just has a black scales for the handle. So it all boils down to personal preference. Like I said, with all those mix and match options, you have 16 different choices. Okay, so a little bit more information. I don't mind EDCing this knife. Like I said, I've had it over a month and I've carried it every day since then, literally. But some people complain that it's a little overkill. One aspect I really like is the deep carry pocket clip right there, so you're never afraid of losing your sweet knife with this one. It also deploys really smoothly. Let's take a look here. Thumb stud, back, very smooth. You can drop it even, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. So some people also hold down the axis lock and do a wrist flick. I don't like doing that. I just feel like I'm abusing it. I don't know. I use the thumb studs. But whatever you like to do. So I'm a big fan of Benchmade's axis lock system, which you'll see right here. That's what this knife is equipped with, and contrary to popular belief, it's much stronger than most frame and liner locks. And Cold Steel uses a system suspiciously similar to the Axis and all their crazy massive knives that they heavily abuse for demonstration purposes, and the locks always seem to hold up pretty well. A potential disadvantage of the Axis mechanism is that it can be more susceptible to front and back blade play with the knife. This didn't really seem to be evident on my Triage, as the blade play is virtually absent, and the knife is well centered within the handle and free of side-to-side play. That can be a bit elusive at first, though, because we have this strangely asymmetrical blade shape, and it might leave your brain thinking it's a bit off-center. Altogether, though, the unique blade shape is pretty cool and resembles a lot of semi-custom or custom designs, and not to mention it is actually very well centered. Remember, I'm talking about the 916, guys. I don't have the 915 in front of me, so I can't really reference the blade style on that, but I suspect that the contours on it are pretty similar. One thing I was impressed to hear about is you can use these for prying tasks. Actually, an employee at Benchmade told me they can pry up to, I can't remember the exact specification, but it was over 200 pounds, which I don't know in relative terms how much prying that really is, but that seemed pretty impressive that they would even suggest that you use a knife for prying. I guess this is kind of designed for it. And perhaps you do work in emergency medical services or the ER and you're looking solely for a replacement for trauma shears. We know shears tend to dull down and be amazingly cheaply built and not always cut through those layers of biker chaps on the scenes of those motorcycle versus auto motor vehicle accidents. So you might also want to look at Benchmade's cutter hooks. The Triage has kind of a cutter hook at the back. It's really sharp. But like I said, you might want to look at just some of their purpose-built pure cutter hooks. The one I especially like is model named 8 Med. So that's the number 8 followed by the letters MED. And that one has an oxygen wrench integrated into it. I think that's just awesome, guys, because for around 25 bucks you get a little cutter hook that'll slice right through seatbelts, boots, plate carriers, clothes, whatever, if you need to get to trauma or tissue injuries or whatever have you. And also, like I said, that model has a little O2 tank wrench that you can crack open an oxygen bottle when someone's in respiratory distress. So if you're in EMS, that's pretty cool. And one other thing, not to mention, we kind of walked off topic there. The Triage is equipped with a carbide tip right here for breaking glass. I haven't had the chance to try that one, but I suspect it would work just great. And finally, this video was suggested by someone on YouTube who said they're a nurse, and I don't know what kind of rules or ordinances govern you carrying a pocket knife at work in a hospital, so just be sure and obey those and stay safe and all that good stuff. So I hope that helps. And just on the note of weight, I guess you could say Nothing Fancy fans can't carry this one because it's a whopping scale tipping 5.1 ounces. I'm just kidding. It is a utility knife or a duty knife, so I know it receives special recognition for its philosophy of use, and it's really not unreasonably heavy. One thing Benchmade did a fantastic job of was milling out some nice big beautiful holes in those 420J stainless steel liners inside. If I had a flashlight handy for you, I'd show you, but anyways, there's just holes milled out in the liner that should still maintain integrity of the liners but reduce a lot of unnecessary weight. So good job there. And I don't really know much about blade steel, but this is N680, and I can tell you that one of its distinguishing properties is certainly resistance to corrosion and rust. So furthermore, this knife is completely ambidextrous. You've got the thumb studs on both sides, the axis lock on both sides. The pocket clip is reversible for right pocket or left carry. Got the holes right there. You can't put it on the other two corners of the knife, so you'll be forced to carry this one tip up, which I think is just great. I don't know why you would carry a knife tip down, but personal preference. Again, just something to be aware of. And it's a chiseled grind blade, so it's beveled on one side and the other side's flat, you see there. It is razor sharp out of the box. You can shave with it or cut paper with it, no problem. So for what I think is about $7, you can opt for Benchmade to laser engrave something on the blade. So you can see I had them put my name on there and a Star of Life, but you can do whatever you want there if you're willing to customize a little bit. And that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for watching. And Benchmade 916 Triage. I think it's a fantastic knife. If you're a first responder or something like that, you might really want to consider getting one of these. They're really solid and pretty awesome. Take care.